Cada día sale el sol, nuevas esperanzas son. Dios habla a tu corazón, sanándote, alimentando tu vida con bálsamo de vida, con bálsamo de vida, bálsamo de vida.
Bálsamo de vida con Rosmery y Reid.
Staying silent and knowing when to do so is a virtue. It's so important to be silent that the word itself tells us that there is a time to be silent in Ecclesiastes 3:7. But we currently live in a world that is full of constant noises and voices that can rob us of our peace. But in the midst of the noisiness and storm, the Lord speaks to us through His word and tells us once again, be silent. May God bless you and keep you on this day. Today's reflection is titled, You Must Keep Silent. In Joshua chapter 6, God gives Joshua clear orders to take over Jericho. And He says specifically in verse 10, do not give a war cry, do not raise your voices, do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout. I couldn't help but think how difficult it must be for these people to keep silent and march around for 6 days. I imagine they thought to themselves, what are we doing? How can we keep silent in the middle of a battle? How are we going to destroy the walls by being silent and marching around? Normally, in the midst of desperation or battle, we tend to shout or be filled with despair with the hopes of someone helping us or listening to us. And while this may be normal, in the Lord, the most advisable thing to do in these situations is to keep silent. The psalmist, on one occasion, after having gone through so many great trials that taught him many things, says in Psalms 37:7, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. When need hits our home or illness manifests itself, our first reaction many times is to complain to God and say, why me? We even think for some reason that God has forgotten about us. However, it's only necessary to remain silent with the confidence that God is in control. Silence at the right time is a sign of faith, of absolute dependence, of trust, of fidelity. And yes, I know it is difficult to do so, and I know because I've experienced it firsthand. But even though Israel struggled and remained silent for several days, their obedience and faith allowed them to see a wonderful miracle and the fulfillment of the promise that God had told them. And it came to pass that when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, they shouted with a great shout, and the wall fell down. The people went up into the city and they took it, and they destroyed everything that was in the city. You may not understand in the moment why you should remain silent, but Israel did so with the confidence that God had a plan. And perhaps today you may have many things to ask Him, but the instruction today is the following. You must remain silent and wait. This is your sister Vanessa Ortiz, and may God bless you.
Gracias por estar ahí, escuchando Bálsamo de Vida. Si estas palabras han edificado tu vida, escríbenos a balsamodevidareflexiones@gmail.com y síguenos en nuestras redes sociales. Reflexiones Bálsamo de Vida. Que su gracia te cubra en este día.